This is Jamin Mishlevietz here. I've got something super cool to show you guys today. I recognized through a few different scenarios and environments that I went through in my life some problems. And I found a few solutions for those things to make it really easy to get through those moments and kind of move your life to the point where you want to be to get what you want out of your life. And I personally went through a lot of hard things that I probably shouldn't have had to endure so early on in my existence. But it ended up happening that way with me, and that's a blessing ultimately for me now looking back. And at the time that I was trying to consider how to share this message with you guys, I just started pulling binders. And I just started pulling information. Just started pulling all of the things that I've got to kind of convey the right message to get you to understand what I'm about to share with you. This is important. This is important. People today they're not well. They're not well. They're sick. They're tired. They don't have the goals that they want out of their life, or they've got some sort of problem they can't seem to get through. They're like up against this wall. And we feel small. People feel smaller than their problem. And their problem, they just look at it like, it's almost like you're looking up at this problem. Like, oh man, this is absolutely bigger than I'm capable of taking on. And so the solution first up front is to make yourself bigger than your problems. Okay, and I have the tools to do that. And I use them in my life all the time. All the time. At the beginning of my parenting life, my beginning of my fatherhood, me and my wife were not doing well. We were in a place where it turned out to be more of a struggle to exist than it felt like was worth it trying. It felt like it would be better for me to leave my wife, leave my children, and just come to this place of I came to this place of I'm too much of a burden, and I'm making it harder on my family. You know, I couldn't keep a roof over their head. I couldn't keep a car I couldn't keep anything running. I mean, I've been a mechanic for several years, and I was doing that for a long period of time. That was my main source of income, but I still somewhat, for some reason, couldn't figure out how to keep a running vehicle just for my wife to drive. And it ended up being a really big problem in our life. And we got to the point where we lived in this trailer home. And we put this little, it wasn't really a trailer home. It was like a beat down RV, and old school, like 70s. And it had a really old, like 60s Ford on it. And I was really hoping when I got that, we were still living in this basement home. I was really hoping, man, when I get this RV, it's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna fix up this RV, this engine. I'm gonna get this thing running. It's an old school Ford. It's gonna be awesome. But then I couldn't keep the steam. Couldn't keep the steam. And I lost the motivation. I lost the drive. I lost the nerve, and I didn't fix it. I didn't get it running. And it ended up being such a problem, dominoing out, all from how I felt about myself and how I felt about people around me, that I ended up losing my job. I ended up losing the house that we were in. I ended up not being able to pay bills, and we went massively into debt. And we were out of town at the time, and I had to actually make arrangements to have my stuff from this home that we were living in put into that RV, and then have the RV moved. And the RV couldn't be moved because I had the keys, and they couldn't pull it out of park and tow it anywhere. And it ended up being this massive, like, hard scenario. Hard scenario. When we came back, we came back into town, we had $100 to our name and no home. And this RV wasn't even weatherproof. It had big holes in the roof. Had big holes in the roof, and I had a baby. I just had my baby. He was maybe 4 months old, and we were living in this beat down RV. And as we're pulling out of this driveway, I had a Dodge Dakota. I'm towing it backwards out of this driveway where they left it for us. And then I pulled the car around, and I pulled it up front, and I reattached the tow. I went underneath, and I'm all crawling in the dirt, and I'm just getting all gross, and because it had been recently snowing and raining, and I'm all crawling in this nasty, slimy road, and I'm underneath hooking up the tow strap, and Then I go to the other side and I hook it to my truck, and I have my wife drive the truck and I'm driving the RV, and we didn't know where to take it. I had nowhere to go. We had nowhere to go, and we ended up going to a parking lot down the way, and we lived in that parking lot for like 3 weeks. And my son, my newborn son, and my beautiful wife were in this position of a Wyoming winter, pouring rain and snow through the hole in the top of this thing while we're sleeping in the bed, and even part of it's getting wet because it's coming right through. And I'm supposed to keep them warm. I mean, I'm the father, I'm the provider. I'm supposed to be able to get out there and make things work. I'm supposed to be able to attract things, make things, happen. I'm the hunter-gatherer, right? Where's the money? Why didn't I go out there and get the money? Where's the home? We didn't even have proper clothing. Where's all these things I was supposed to be able to attain to provide for my family, right? These are the things I wanted to do. These are the things I wanted to do, be able to provide. This is not the life that I had in mind. And it wasn't until after the fact, going through this event and these scenarios, that I received help. We had to get help to get out of that. And it wasn't until I humbled myself and recognized I was the problem. It was in here. My wife was relying on me. My son was relying on me. I was relying on me. But I didn't have the nerve and the gall and the get up and go. I didn't have the drive to hold my own. I had too much stuff shoved down, and it all came up, and I lost my confidence. I lost my confidence. I lost my drive. I lost my drive. And through the scenario of learning and figuring this out, I started to attain mentors. I started through attaining mentors and seeing their success and seeing, oh man, this person's got $1 million. How did they do that? How did they do that? $1 million? Are you kidding me? You know what I would give at that time? What I would have said to anybody to get $1 million? Like, oh man, it would have been extreme. It would have been extreme. I would have worked. I would have scrubbed toilets. There's a million things I would have done for $1 million. That time in my life, that was how it was. That's how it was. And through these mentors that were so revered and successful, I learned what they did. And I started to perfect things that would work for me. Started to perfect the way that it would work for me. I started to gather different things that I could from my experiences. I would look into my past and I'd say, oh man, this worked, this didn't. And I'd pull this with me and say, okay, I want to do that again. This didn't work, get that out of the way. And then I would just keep doing that. And I realized I was building evidence of my capabilities. I was building evidence of what I was capable of doing. I was building evidence. And as I was building all this evidence up, I started to recognize all my success. I started to recognize, man, I've been through this moment, this accomplishment. I went through all these different things. And even down to the most basic, I have on the table right here, one of the most basic of my accomplishments, but also a very profound accomplishment many people underestimate. I keep it on my wall as a constant reminder that looking back, the simple things in life often breed the biggest rewards. And this right here, this is a piece of evidence. This is just my high school completion diploma. This is my high school completion diploma. This states that I completed all the necessary tests and routines and schooling and education to get this certification. And I frame it and I make it look nice and I put it up on my wall, and it's a reminder for me that I was capable of doing something even at this point. That at that point, you remember when you guys were 16, 17, and that looked terrifying. That looked terrifying. You really think you could make it through high school in the beginning of high school? So that right there is a reward. It's a reward, and it's an evidence. It's a piece of evidence for me. And this right here, this is education. This Visionary Mastery Binder, this is a course that I offer, that I teach people. what I've learned. And this is full of all kinds of goodies. This is special. And this right now, I'm actually currently going through this course. I'm always going through this course. And as I'm going through this course and I'm studying what's inside this binder, I'm always adding more. I'm always coming across more. Oh man, you know, this is a good piece of knowledge I can throw in here and I can share. And when we're looking at evidence and we're looking at education and we're looking at different things that we've learned and attained and brought together in our lives to give us the success steps and the action steps to reach the goals that we have in life, we need evidence to support that we can even get goals. Your subconscious mind works on evidence. Your subconscious mind will look at all of your history and it will say, hold on, this new thing you want to do, we've never done that before, so go this way because that's scary, we could die. That's scary, we could die. We have no idea if that is going to keep us alive or not. And all I care about is keeping us alive. So don't do that weird out of your comfort zone kind of stuff. Let's just go sit on the couch, watch a movie, and eat a bunch of potato chips. Let's just get comfortable. Because I can live in comfortable. What's comfortable is familiar. What's comfortable is normal. It's something consistent that we've done that has always given us the same results, but we've always survived it. So now I have this evidence that says, okay, we can do that. And I can keep doing that, and I'll keep living. But we don't want to just live. We don't want to just live. Okay? What we want to do is we want to acquire credentials for our brain. Credentials, okay, when you're looking at credentials in your life, and you've got like this that I just showed you, this is a credential. This right here is a credential that says I completed something. It says I have this much value. All right? And a credential is a source of evidence. A credential is something that says, I'm capable of this. Look, I'm capable. Okay, this right here, this evidence that we build up, this moves us. This is powerful. This is like having a wave at your back. Just having this massive wind pushing you forward through life. I've got this credential behind me, and I've got all this work that I put through this that's given me all these evidences to say that I can keep changing and keep getting out of my comfort zone and moving forward. And I can attain my goals. Okay, I told you that story because I wanted you to know that low point that I was at. This is a goal, and this is this binder. And look how awesome this binder is. All of like $3 over at Walmart. And it's got this super, super cool picture that just resonates with me. Like, I did it. You know what I mean? Like, yes. You know, I love that. I absolutely love that. It's fire. It's like motivating, like that drive. You know what I mean? That drive that I lost. That flame inside me. And it says, yes, I can. And look at this. Inside here, I just got a few things. This right here is called my success binder. This right here is called my success binder. In my success binder, I keep all of my accomplishments that are the most impactful down to the most simple. The most simple. And looking at this binder, just flipping through the pages is enough to say like, wow, I've accomplished that? Are you serious? Seriously? Imagine me down at this point where I was in this little beat up mobile home thing, and I can't provide for my wife, I couldn't provide for my kids, I couldn't get this put together. And then, let me tell you this story, just briefly here. This goal right here, I took off my vision board when I had accomplished it. This goal was to hold $5,000 cash in my hands that I had earned. $5,000 that I earned. It didn't matter how that came about. It just mattered that I was able to accomplish the goal. And when I was able to accomplish the goal, I was able to really reiterate what the goal meant to me and keep moving forward through even bigger, better ways and end up in a bigger, broader goal. And that bigger, broader goal, guess what this was? $5,000 in my hand in a 30-day period coming from zero. I wanted to go from $0 to $5,000 inside 1 month. This is a timeline. And at the time in my life when I was in this low place, that was scary. That goal freaked me out. Looking at my vision board, using that tool of vision, activating that tool. I was like looking at that going, wow, are you serious? Like I can do that. I can do that. Me, and my brain starts throwing all this negative talk out and says, no, you can't do that. Look at this why, and this is the reason why, and all this other stuff. This goal right here wasn't too far out of the same kind of scenario. I wasn't doing very well. I was in this place where financially I couldn't get to this event. And I had a goal to speak in front of 1,000 people. I just wanted to share myself in front of 1,000 people. I wanted them to know what I had to show them. I wanted them to learn something from me. And through mentoring them just for a moment. And I got that opportunity at an event that I went to, a seminar that I went down to in Salt Lake City. And the story that led up to that was, I mean, I was putting pieces of other cars together onto this one car so this one car could get me there. After I had already hit the quit button, decided I wasn't going to do it. This one right here, this is still developing. This is still developing. I saved a spot right here so that I can put the final goal right here. Because this right here, this is a Toyota Tacoma. I have envisioned for myself a Toyota Tacoma of a specific standard. I've got the details in mind, what the texture of the steering wheel feels like. You know, it's a manual. It's got all the specifics laid out. And I needed to have the experience so that I could attain the goal. I needed to build the evidence that I could drive a Tacoma to give me the idea that I could have a Tacoma. So I had the experience, and I went and drove this Tacoma. And I may have, it was from a dealer. I may have taken it off-road just a little bit, just to get the feel of the shocks, you know. And I lived that moment. I lived what I had envisioned, you know. And this, I could just flip through this for days, just enjoying this. And just enjoying the things that I have to share that I've experienced. And not share that are just for me, that I've experienced. Because this is evidence. This is evidence. Building this binder tells my subconscious mind that I have capabilities of doing this. I have capabilities of accomplishing my goals. And it moves mountains for me. And when these mountains, these hills, these things that just look so daunting start to move out of the way, guess what happens? Oh man, I feel big. Oh man, I feel like I could just, yeah, like I could do it. You know, that fist on that binder, I could do it. And that confidence comes back. And man, when that confidence is back and you're just like, you're on fire and you're just moving and you're just freaking getting your goals left and right and you're just like on point. And you're like, man, this action step done. This action step done. This action step done. And you're just moving, moving, moving. And you look at things that are hard and you're like, yeah, I can do hard things. Yeah, I'm good at things because I'm ready, willing, and able. You know, you tell yourself what you're capable of. You declare what you're capable of. And then it becomes. And you have the evidence to back that what you're saying is real. What you're saying is real. And it leads you into success. It leads you into success. This right here, this is my business card. Make Change Mentoring, MCM. Okay, this is a life goal. It is a success for me to be able to make this video for you. It is a success for me to hold this in my hand. It is a huge success for me to just have all this positivity and all this love for the people, all this massive amount of just desire to keep doing what I'm doing, put into this. And I get to influence people with this. I get to cause a change. I get to cause people to make changes for themselves. How would you like to be able to grab something that you've always wanted and move it into a project? Grab something that is you're so passionate about, you're so real to you, and move it into something that you're in love with. I've done that. This is my success. And I hope it will be, at some point, the biggest influence I'll ever make. It will come through this. And for me, it came through experiences. to figure this stuff out, to figure out how the credentials that I gained, such as the president and founder of Make Change Mentoring, nutritional therapist, public speaker, these credentials had to add up to become evidences for my brain. It had to add up to say evidence that I'm capable of big things, to increase my value and cause confidence. Cause confidence. When that confidence was there, oh man, it just equaled success on its own. I don't even have to do anything because my confidence moves me. My confidence causes this willingness and this ability, causes me to be ready at all times, willing to move forward, and able to meet all of these goals and stand before them and hold them in my hand and say, man, I've accomplished this. And look, I get to put them in my success binder and cause more evidence and credentials to keep adding up. And my success just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And I go level and level and level up until eventually I've just reached every goal I could possibly have. And as I get bigger and bigger, my goals get bigger and bigger, and it just increases indefinitely. And I get to give. I get to give, and I get to care. I get to show that I care. And it ends up being one of those things where my change that I'm making in my life causes a change for you. So I love you guys. I really do. And I hope that you can grasp this concept and move through these steps in your life. Get yourself some sort of evidence. I've showed you a lot of different things that I use to build that evidence and hold those credentials high and be able to cause a change in my life that generates this confidence that moves me up, just picks me up, and I gain the success that I want, and I have the goals that I want, and I move the mountains in my way. So I love you. A reminder, this is Jamin Muslivlich. I cannot wait to meet you in person and keep moving forward. See ya.